everyone. Welcome to the Woolly Wonka Fibers podcast. Today is December 11th. It's Sunday, 2016. My name is Anne, and this is a video podcast about my indie dye and indie design business, my knitting and my spinning, and some other crafty tidbits. I hope you all are doing well. If you are a brand new viewer, thank you for taking the opportunity to check me out. And a big hi howdy, happy holidays to my returning viewers. I greatly appreciate that you guys continue to come back and visit with me on my video podcasts. So it's been a little more than a week and a half, I think, since I recorded. I am going to try to get one more podcast in before the end of the year, so something around maybe the 21st or 22nd. Probably not going to podcast that last week of December. My husband and I have some home improvement projects that we're going to be working on, and I'll be working in my dye studios, so just lots of stuff on our plates, and I think it'll be easier to do a video after the turn of the year, but I will catch up with you guys just before Christmas Eve because I wanted to talk a little bit about things going forward, what I'm going to be planning on working on for 2017, kind of an end of the year recap, that sort of thing, you know, the sort of usual. So I hope all of you are well. We finally are done with our house guests, kind of moved into the holiday party thing. Went to a little party last night. My husband is out of town. He'll be home late today, and then he's here for half a day on Monday, and then he leaves again for the next week. So kind of running solo here, but we have the house already decorated. We did all the outdoor lights, which is good. We have a porch extension off the back end of our house over our deck, and we put the hanging icicle type lights off that, and I can't quite reach all of the hooks for them even on the ladder. So my less vertically challenged husband, I mean, he's 6 feet tall, he has no problems with it. Me, I would be out there doing stupid stuff, hanging off things I probably shouldn't. Anyway, all of those are done. We have the Christmas tree is up. We have, you know, rearranged things a little bit to have the holiday decorations out. So we're pretty well ready for Christmas. I have I think one gift left to shop for. Everything else is done. Boxes should go in the mail probably Tuesday. Get those sent off if it's not something I'm like sending directly to the recipients. So let's get started on some crafty things. I have a couple of things of note to share with you guys. Let's start with the quick ones. I have finished the other pair of holiday gift socks. They are done. D is for done. These are the ones that I'm gifting to my nephew Will, who is a huge Washington Capitals hockey fan. He plays ice hockey. So the yarn is a self-striping colorway from Desert Vista Dye Works. It's on her Viso base. And now I can't remember the colorway name. Home of the Brave, maybe? It has something to do with the Star Spangled Banner lyrics. But at any rate, 64 stitch leg with a 2x2 rib cuff. I did the contrasting heels with the I had the striping yarn came with these little mini skein of the speckly dye ones for the heels, and I used a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then kind of my normal rounded toe. So these are done. They are ready to go. I just need to make up some tags, and these can go in the gift box along with his younger brother's version, the Gryffindor striped socks. So those are done. All of my Christmas knitting, required Christmas knitting, done. 2 thumbs up. So that's that project. Then I wanted to share another finished object with you, and this is kind of a little different, so bear with me. I will put links to everything in the show notes so you guys can find out more information. Little history. So I have been asked to be a featured artist at the 2017 Albuquerque Fiber Fiesta, which is in May of 2017. It's an every other year festival. One of the big guilds, like craft guilds down in Albuquerque, hosts it. 2 years ago was the first year that I had done it. So this is my second year, but I know several folks who are on the committee. They had asked me if I would be willing to have a booth of my designs, basically. They were really interested in the Free Spirit Knits collection, so I'll be having a trunk show of that, plus, you know, book sales there. But then they also asked me if I could do a Fiber Fiesta exclusive colorway and pattern. And what they thought would be kind of fun is if I put a call out after the pattern was completed to see if folks would like to participate in doing kind of a group exhibition of all different kinds of the shawl being knit. So the pattern that I've designed is very Albuquerque themed. If you are at all familiar with Albuquerque, you know that every fall we have the balloon fiesta in Albuquerque, and it runs about a week, like a weekend through weekend. It's normally a time where we have crazy winds and weird weather, so it's not always perfect, but it is a really fun event. There's tons of hot air balloons. They're all over the skies. You can go down and just watch it from various vantage points, but then there's also areas at the fairgrounds, all kinds of stuff. It's just a really fun thing. So I designed a long crescent-shaped shawl using one of the Aran Road sock gradients. The colorway is New Mexico Sky. And let me see if I can get this so you guys can actually see one of the motifs here. I need something behind it, I think. Let's try that. There we go. So the bottom, it starts at the bottom hem and it's worked up to the top. You can see that there, the bottom border is a bunch of knit purl motifs that look like hot air balloons. And it's just shaped with some short rows, kind of hard to get everything in the picture. But not a super tough project, fairly quick. It's only one skein of fingering weight yarn. So right now I have the custom colorway for sale in the shop. Put a link below. But if you would like to join us and have your version of the shawl included in the installation at the Fiesta, the exhibition in May, what you can do is pop over to Ravelry. I'll also put a link there. The pattern is normally $4, but if you pop in the coupon code, which I will also include in the show notes, you get 50% off, so it's a $2 pattern. And there's all of this information as well in the Willy Wonka Fibers group, so you don't have to try to remember all of this that I'm sharing with you. Knit yourself up a version of the pattern. Pop it in the mail to me no later than April 15th. It will be displayed and as part of the greater exhibit, and then I will send the finished shawl back to you. If you're somewhere in the world that it's a little far to ship, or you just don't feel comfortable doing that, that's fine too. Just take me a nice high-resolution picture, send it on. We're going to be printing stuff out, and the print versions of finished items will be shown in the booth as well. So we'd love to have as many versions of this from across, certainly across the state, but across the country or across the world. That would be wonderful. Would love to have you join me to do that. I'm pretty excited. It was a really nice honor to be selected to do that, to be their featured artist for the show. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. So anyway, all the details, like I said, are in the Ravelry group. I will put a link to that in the show notes, as well as to the pattern. If you have a hankering for a cute little project, this would be a great thing to kick the new year off to do. Come join us. So that is that finished object. If you are local to Albuquerque, the Yarn Store at Nob Hill will also have the colorway in stock after January 5th, probably, or thereabouts. Okay, so what else am I working on? Right now, I don't have any kind of non-deadline, non-secret knitting projects on the needles. Those socks, they were it. So I have to decide what my next thing is going to be. I might work my way through some handspun. I haven't knit with my handspun in a little while, and I'm kind of feeling like I want to do that. So that might be the next thing, but I haven't decided on a project. I also have a baby sweater to knit, so realistically that should probably go on the needles next. So maybe I'll just do that. I have the yarn ready for that. Maybe I'll show you guys that for the end of the month. The baby's due in February, so I have time to regroup, figure out what I'm going to do. So in the other things that I'm working on, the secret knitting projects that I'm knitting on, I finished up the mitts and cowl pattern and samples that are going to be in the spring Filament magazine. I'm on the last of the 4 projects I'm doing for the magazine. It is a sweater. Oh, did you hear my dog? That was her sneezing. She and me, we are the allergy twins. Yeah. Anyway. I'm working on a sweater. It is a colorwork pattern. I'm using fennel yarn from the Yarn Guys, and these are the 3 colors that I am working up the sweater in. I think those are lovely spring colors. I'm excited with how this one is working up. Kind of a light sage green and then a dark rose and a light pink. I think these are really pretty together. So I'm working on that. That's kind of my focus finish project for right now. And then I'm also working on another project that's a vest that is in my Freya DK, and I'm working that up in the colorway Brick. It's a little bit lighter in real life. Let's see if I can get that. But it's kind of a rusty red color. And that is a cabled vest. I am working on that. I think I finally have all the cables, more sneezing, all the cables figured out the way I want them to go, so I'm just working on knitting the sample, and that is my kind of work on when I have my brain project right now. And light. The yarn is just dark enough that since, you know, these long night kind of days where the sun is going down fairly early, the vest is harder to work on. It's just dark enough. I need a little extra light to do that. So I'm hoping to have both those garment projects finished up close to the end of the year, at the latest mid-January. And I've got a couple other things then ready to go right on the needles as soon as those are done. I think that's it for knitting, guys. I think that's all I got. Next, spinning. I have some actual stuff to show you, as opposed to, hi, I'm working on the same thing again. First up, I have finished plying the Boardwalk skein. If you might remember, this is Superwash Merino. It is from 2F by Hand. The colorway is Boardwalk. It is a gradient, or at least I spun it up as a 2-ply gradient. The color goes from that tealy turquoise through to orange, and then kind of a rustic brown, browny green. The final skein is 437 yards and 3.7 ounces, so it is just about spot on for a commercial weight fingering or sock yarn weight. I don't think I'm going to make socks with this, however, since it's the colors shift the whole way through, so it's big blocks of color all the way through the skein. But I do think a single skein cowl or shawl would be really, really great out of this. So that's where that is headed, but not a specific pattern yet. I haven't gotten that far in the planning. But really happy with how squishy this is. It's lovely and soft, and yeah, really happy with how that one came out. So then this week I started my second to last fiber in my Spin the Bin project, closing in on the finish line. This is a Superfine merino alpaca 50-50 blend from Pigeon Roof Studios in the colorway Charcoal. And it's a dark charcoal gray, but some modeling in there. So there's kind of a dove gray, there's kind of a purpley gray, a little bit almost of a taupe. So this is half. This is the second half that I have left to spin. And I have finished the singles for the first half. I'm spinning this kind of sort of sport to DK weight. We'll see what comes out in the wash at the end. Easy, easy spin. It's like just zips onto the wheel. It's a little bit fuzzy, a little bit like sheddy, but that's the alpaca in it. It's going to be very, very soft when it's done. And I think a great neutral where I might make something, you know, a hat or something like that out of it. We'll see what I end up with in terms of yardage, but yeah, really enjoying that. So once that is done, and my goal is to get that done this week, that would leave me 2 weeks to finish 1.85 ounces of a merino Angora bunny blend. I have 2 little mini bats to spin up. So gosh, you know what? I am so hoping I can do that. I really want to finish this project before the end of the year, and I feel so good about having converted all of the fiber into yarn, usable yarn. Yeah, that is a good feeling. And I'm definitely going to continue on that next year with my spin from stash efforts. Yeah, that feels really good. So if you're interested in joining me to spin from your stash, I will also put a link to the Willy Wonka Fibers group forum where there's a small group of us who are doing that next year, and you know, very casual. So if you are interested and have any stash at all that you want to spin, please come and join us, because we're going to try to work through some, give each other a little bit of moral support and cheer each other on and work on some other projects that we've maybe had sitting for a while and should get spun up. I'm going to talk a little bit more in my next video about my 2017 plans for that. I've sort of touched on them, but I'll show you guys some of the things that I have earmarked to tackle in the first month of the year. All right, spinning, done. That's it. My last little bit I wanted to share with you guys is I have one little stitchy project that I've been working on this week. Get the pattern out here. This is something that I started in November. My plan is to work on this the first quarter of 2017. We'll see kind of where I wind up, how long it takes me. But this was like my focus project for this week when I had some stitching time. And the pattern is the Winter Garden from the Drawn Thread. I have a seasonal one for each quarter. And this is obviously winter. You guys can see there's a little bit of a glare. Sorry for that. And I am stitching this up. This is where I am right now. I am using slightly different colored floss than is called for, a different brand, but it is a hand-dyed floss, which I really like. So I finished the first page of the pattern, and there's 3 full pages, and then maybe that much more at the far end. You can see this is a relatively long piece of fabric. So this is where I am currently. So up to there. That is basically right. What's on the screen is the first page. And then I've gone on and I started the second page on that conifer tree, which I was really enjoying working on. I've decided to do kind of a rotational thing where I spend a week working on each of my bigger projects each month. So this was this week's project this month. So it's going to go away for a while. I'm going to work on something else. I'll have something else to show you guys next week. I am headed out today to spend a little time with my friend Joy. We're going to do a little bit of stitching for a couple hours this afternoon, and I'm going to take one of my portable pieces just something small that I'm not kind of fighting with a big frame to do. So I think that's where I stand. I will toss out as well, I don't know if any of you follow my blog. I'll put a link below. This past year I have been doing the 2016 reading challenge, which you can find more information about that on Goodreads if you are a member of Goodreads. The group is called Around the Year in 52 Books, I believe. And so I did that challenge in 2015 and I did it in 2016. I just finished up 2016, which was really fun. And I kind of dithered back and forth about whether I was going to do 2017 or not, but in the end I've decided that I am going to go ahead and do it. I found a whole bunch of books that I wouldn't have read otherwise, and I think that that's good for me. I think with reading I have a tendency to get into a rut about kind of picking the same type of books, and then I get bored. I know, it's weird. Some of you may know I did my master's work in American history, and it is a very intensive kind of thing. You know, I would take 2 or 3 classes a semester, and each class we would have usually 1, sometimes 2 full-length nonfiction books to read. So I was reading, you know, 4 to 6 nonfiction books usually every week, history books. And not that I didn't enjoy that, but after the 2 years it took me to finish my master's, I don't think I read at all for almost a year after that. I was burned out. And so I'm trying not to get into that I have to read something. But the thing that I like about this challenge is that the weekly topics are general enough that usually I can find something that suits whatever I'm in the mood to read for that particular week, and gives me some flexibility. So if you are a reader and interested in that, I will also put a link to the Goodreads group in the show notes, but would love to have you find and friend me, and I'd love to hear what you're reading. I'm always on the lookout for good book suggestions, and I think that's part of the fun. Sometimes, you know, for instance, my dad and I have very similar reading tastes in certain areas, and so 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100, if my dad recommends a book, I'm gonna like it. I know I'm pretty safe taking a recommendation from him, but it's always interesting to me to see things that people think, oh wow, that was the best book I've ever read, and I think, but I'm still glad I read it because I think it's a great thing to sort of expand your horizons like that. So anyway, I will make a note of that group if you're interested. Like I said, love to hear what you're reading, or if you have any good recommendations that you've read recently that might be something to pick up. I will say that this past year, my top book that I've read was a book called The Nightingale, and it's set in France during World War II, and it's kind of revolves around these 2 sisters who are very different but very similar in some respects, and I just loved the book. I didn't really know very much about it. It was one of the ones that was like, it fulfilled a topic, and so, you know, oh hey, here it is, I'll pick this up and read it. And in the end, I'm so glad I did, because that's a book that's going to stick with me a really long time. I think about it, I think about the story, kind of remember bits of it that I liked. I probably will reread it at some point, and I don't often reread books. Anyway, so that is something else that I'm doing in my little corner of the world. I hope you all have had a great week and some fun things in your neck of the woods, wherever you are. Until the next time that I talk to you, have an absolutely wonderful week or 2. Hope you have some great crafty time, some time to relax and enjoy the holidays wherever you are and whatever you celebrate. And I will talk to you guys in a bit. Take care.